Hi, I'm Lucy and this is Talk Mystery to Me, the place where I talk about thriller, mystery and horror books. And for this video I thought it would be fun to read a thriller from every year since 2014, all the way up to now. So for this I'm going to pick one book from each year and read it and kind of report back. Haven't thought too much about this concept, but yeah, we're gonna wing it. So starting all the way back in 2014, I'm going to read The Good Girl by Mary Kubica. For this video I tried to pick books from authors I haven't read much from. There are a few exceptions, but yeah, for the most part I tried authors that I haven't really read. And surprisingly I have not read anything by Mary Kubica. So this seemed like a good opportunity to do that. So The Good Girl, based on the blurb, Mia goes to a bar to meet her on-off boyfriend who doesn't show up. Instead she meets Colin and ends up leaving with him. He ends up abducting her and hides her in a cabin in the middle of nowhere, and her mom and a detective try to find her. It sounds like there might be some family drama here too, so hoping a little bit for that. And yeah, so let's give this a whirl. So I finished The Good Girl and it was fine. Not great by any means. I wasn't really a fan of the way the timeline jumps around. The way the book is set up, you get like before and after perspectives from the mom, the detective, and the kidnapper. So there wasn't much kind of left to be a surprise, really. Didn't feel like there was anything to work towards, because you already know that Mia's going to get rescued. You already are kind of seeing the aftermath. Even at the beginning of the book, like one of the first chapters you're seeing with the mom, you're seeing like the aftermath of what's occurred. So there isn't really a lot to unravel here, if you like. So yeah, it just wasn't really what I was hoping for, I guess. And yeah, just didn't love it. I will say that the Stockholm Syndrome aspect of this book was quite well done, I think. At least for me it was. But yeah, just a book overall just wasn't quite for me, which is fine. Not every book is going to be for everyone, so yeah. Anyways, moving now to 2015, I'm going to read The Luckiest Girl Alive by Jessica Knoll. Between Libby and KU, I was struggling to find anything for this year, but I got lucky and found this one on Everand, used to be Scribd. Yeah, so according to the blurb, Annie was publicly humiliated in high school. She got older and reinvented herself, but she has a secret that could destroy everything. Sounds like it could be exactly my thing. So yeah, I can't wait to get started. Okay, so Luckiest Girl Alive. I really enjoyed this one. I do enjoy some, bitchy, catty kind of drama, and this delivered on that score. And I really enjoyed the pacing of this book. You got the present timeline, you got the past of Annie being in school, and you kind of see all these things occurring. And yeah, it was generally a good time, this book. I enjoyed pretty much all of it. I had a good time all the way through. There was no points where I was like really bored or anything. So yeah, I kept my attention and just I was kind of invested as well. I struggled a bit with Annie. She's not the most likable character. I don't think she's supposed to be. But I mean, there were some parts where it's like kind of did start to soften towards her, but overall she's not the favourite character I've read. But yeah, she was fine. But I wasn't really fussed about any of the other characters. There wasn't really anyone else that like kind of drew me in. But overall, I did find this to be a fairly entertaining read. Alright, 2016, and we have All the Missing Girls by Megan Miranda. I have had this on my bookshelf for so long, and I have never gotten around to it. Like, I think it's made it onto several TBRs, but I've never actually opened it. So this is finally its moment, so I'm kind of hoping it lives up to some expectations. I don't know why I've been putting it off, because I'm pretty sure I am really gonna like this. 10 years ago, Nicolette's best friend Corinne went missing. Nicolette returns to her hometown and another girl goes missing. It's exactly pretty much 10 years to the date, and so I guess we're gonna find out the connection between two girls, what happened in the past, what happened now, and yeah, so I'm excited to see kind of where it all goes and what happens. Yeah, I have high hopes for this, so I'm really hoping it kind of lives up to what I've made it in my head, if that makes sense. Okay, so I actually quite liked this one. I thought that the reverse timeline was kind of neat, so it gives like a retracing steps kind of feel to it, which I really did enjoy. So it's like it keeps, you're on day 15 or whatever, and you keep going for like back until her first day of arriving in town. So her 15th is at like the start, and yeah, I really enjoyed that. It was, yeah, it really did kind of give a, retracing our steps and figuring it out, and just as Nicolette kind of unravels in her head what she's seen, what she's witnessed, what she remembers from the past as well as now, and yeah, the way that things are slightly revealed in that timeline is just, I thought it was really well done. I didn't overly see some of it coming, but I was really invested in the storyline. Yeah, very, very intrigued all the way through, just to find out what the heck was happening. It had a little bit of, there's a little bit of creepiness to it, a little bit of, I don't know, danger almost, and yeah, I did enjoy this one. So for 2017, I chose The Escape by C.L. Taylor. It's a book I found on Libby, and I thought this book was going to be different to what it was, and I did not end up loving it. So, Jo gives a strange woman a ride home and instantly regrets it. This woman seems to know a lot about Jo and her family and her kid, and according to the blurb, it begins as a subtle threat, turns into a nightmare. And I was intrigued, I was excited. It just kind of, the whole thing was just kind of meh to me. I don't know if it's because I feel like I've read similar things that just kind of, I don't know, hit differently. But I feel like I almost felt like I'd read this book before, even though I knew I hadn't. Just because I have read very similar things. And, yeah, for me it just didn't feel outstandingly awesome. And I was a little bit, I didn't want to stop reading it, but I also couldn't wait for it to be over, which, it's been disappointing because I really did have higher hopes for it when I went into it. It just didn't quite live up to what I thought it was going to be. For 2018, I chose to read The Ex's Revenge by Joe Jakeman. I really enjoyed this. Imogen's divorce to Philip is not going well. He is mean, he's vindictive, he's cruel, and will basically do anything to force her hand to give up whatever it is that he's wanting. He is beyond cruel. Things kind of take a turn, and in the course of events, Imogen is joined by the current girlfriend Naomi and the ex-wife Ruby in kind of getting revenge from Philip, basically trying to they lock him in the cellar basically, and all three of them are involved in it through different stages, not all immediately, some get drawn in, but yeah, it does kind of unfold kind of quickly. The pacing in this is really quick. There's a lot that's happening. It opens at the funeral, and then the chapters are all like 15 days to the funeral, 14 days to the funeral, 9 days to the funeral. So you know that it's coming, and you know that basically how it's going to end up. You know that Philip is going to die. You just don't know when or how or any of that. So you're trying to, watching kind of all of this unfold, knowing the eventual outcome, but it's a hectic, busy ride. Like, a lot happens in those few days, and like, it is kind of brutal, and it's kind of good. Stressful to read, I will say, but yeah, the pacing is really quick, and there's a lot going on. It's kind of a lot of characters, and it's busy, but it's a fun. It was fun. I had fun reading it. I had a good time. It was stressful, but it was good. I enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed all three of the main female characters, and then a couple of the side female characters as well. They were all really well written, and I was just so invested in what was happening and what was going to happen, and like how and when. And yeah, it was fun. I had a good time. Okay, we've made it to 2019, and the book I've chosen for this one is The Woman Downstairs by Elizabeth Carpenter. So human remains are found in a ground floor flat. The residents of Nelson Heights are shocked to learn that there has been a dead body in their building for nearly 2 years. Sarah lives in the flat above, and after the remains are found, she feels threatened by a stranger hanging around the building. Laura has lived in the building for as long as she can remember, caring for her elderly father, though there is more to her story than she is letting on. As the investigation starts to heat up, it's clear that someone isn't telling the truth about what happened all those years ago. I think I'm really going to enjoy this one. It sounds kind of dark and twisty and creepy, and I love all of those things. So I'm optimistic about this one. Very high hopes. So yeah, I am eager to get started. So I was right. I actually did find this kind of creepy. It was so dark in places and sad. I don't know if the intention was for it to be sad, but I actually found it quite an emotional read. Some of it was just so dark and deep, and just, oh my goodness, I really enjoyed this one. It felt like it was like kind of a wild and twisty ride, and just deep, dark, and just kind of a lot of fun to read. I had a good time with this one. I was invested in Laura's story for sure. Sarah, not so much, but didn't completely dislike her. I just a lot more invested in Laura. She was a bit more of a, felt more of a character that I wanted to get to know, and learn her story and just, yeah, follow her. So, vibed a bit more with her, I guess. But yeah, pretty good book all around. I had fun with this one. I was sucked in pretty early on, and just, yeah, I couldn't wait to see where it was taking me, where it was going, and what all had happened. You know, this. Yeah, I enjoyed this one thoroughly. It was a good, kind of emotionally dark kind of roller coaster of a trip, and yeah, enjoyed it immensely. So yeah, that one's with The Woman Downstairs. 2020 now, and we are at The Dilemma by B.A. Paris. I have really enjoyed a lot of the B.A. Paris books that I've read previously, so I kind of have high hopes for this. I'm intrigued. So Olivia's 40th birthday, and she's having a party of a lifetime to make up for the wedding she never had. Everyone she loves will be there except her daughter Marnie, who's studying abroad. But although Olivia loves Marnie, she's secretly glad she won't be at the party. She needs to tell Adam something about their daughter, but she's waiting until the party is over so they can have this last happy time together. Sounds vaguely ominous. Adam wants everything to be perfect for Olivia, so he's secretly arranged for Marnie to come home and surprise her on her birthday. During the day, he hears some terrible news. He needs to tell Olivia because how can the party go on? But she's so happy, so excited, and the guests are about to arrive. The dilemma: how far would you go to give someone you love a last few hours of happiness? So yeah, I have high expectations for this just because I have really enjoyed B.A. Paris in the past, and yeah, so this is kind of one of my most anticipated, I would think. Yeah, so let's give it a whirl. Okay, so I finished this and I have so many questions. I don't think I've ever met a B.A. Paris book that I didn't like, but this one, I don't know. It wasn't bad, but I feel like it left me with more questions than answers. And some of the choices that these people made, I have so many questions. So many. I don't even know what to say about it. This book really is the epitome of, one of those times where you just want the characters in the book to have a conversation with each other. And that way, so much would be solved. So many secrets being kept from each other. Some really shouldn't have been secrets. Some really desperately needed to be spilled ASAP. Some, not really sure what the big deal was, but yeah. If Olivia and Adam actually had actual conversation with each other, most of this book would not need to exist. And that is my entire summary of this book. Just people should talk. So for 2021 I chose The Woman on the Pier by B.P. Walter. And this one, it was really just okay. It wasn't great by any means. And it was just, compared to what I thought it was going to be, it was very strange, to be honest. So Caroline, her daughter Jessica, has told her parents that she's going to stay with a friend in Somerset for a few days, and actually is going to meet a boy. While she's at the train station, she is
killed in a terrorist bomb explosion. And Caroline is obviously left reeling from the news, but she puts all her energy into suddenly blaming this boy that Jessica was going to meet, and like blames him for it, and like engineers this like a meeting with him to like get her revenge on this boy. And it was just so strange because like, and it's like, in a way the book was more about the kind of the unrelenting kind of irrationalness of grief, and in that aspect it did it well. But in terms of like, I don't know, things that happened, it was just a weird choice, I guess. And some of it just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I just didn't really understand where it was going and what it was trying to do. So it just didn't really like appeal to me too much. Yeah, so not the best book that I've read. So for 2022, I chose Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney, and I did not realize this came out as long ago as 2022. I thought it was a much more recent release than that, so surprising. I've been eagerly anticipating this one. This is a twist on And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. A family goes to the grandmother's house on a island just off the coast of Cornwall, and for like a birthday dinner, and they get cut off by the tide, and then gradually one by one the family members start dying, which I love that kind of book, so I'm eagerly anticipating getting into this one. So I'm going to get started and then I will be back when I'm done. Alright, so Daisy Darker did not disappoint. This was my first Alice Feeney book and I was pleasantly surprised. I own more of them, but haven't ever actually gotten around to them, so I think I maybe need to fix that. But anyways, I really enjoyed this. It was dark and twisty, and I love the dark atmosphere that the setting gives, and just I really enjoyed this one. And the family was so interestingly awful that I was quite invested in what all was going down and who was going to be next, and what was happening basically. I will say I did not see like the final killer, like I did not guess the final killer properly, and some other things happened at the end that I didn't see coming either. But I was really fascinated with this, and I was kind of hooked all the way through. Yeah, this one was a very, very, very good read, and it just everything that I enjoy in a murder mystery, I guess. So yeah, this hit all of the right notes for me, so completely awesome. For 2023, I chose to read The Secrets We Buried by Becca Day. Unfortunately, I ended up DNFing this one. The premise sounded really interesting. A woman was murdered on the beach, and her husband was, well, accused but never actually convicted. 3 friends clearly know something, but I don't know. How much they were involved isn't super clear. And then like this kind of new like unknown crime kind of YouTuber investigator person starts talking about it and looking into it, and starts meeting like the friends and the husband and trying to dig into what actually happened to this woman. I thought it was going to be a lot more interesting than it was. I found all of the characters really flat. I didn't enjoy them, so I found it just a little bit kind of boring to read, and I just could not get into it. I got about 30% in, and I just could not continue. Didn't want to continue. Yeah, so unfortunately that one didn't kind of go so well for me. For my 2024 book, I chose Signed, Sealed, Dead by Cynthia Murphy. And well, I could not put this one down. I had so much fun with it, and I had so much fun with it. I was pretty much hooked right from the get-go. And yeah, I really enjoyed this one. It is actually my first YA that's on this list. And yeah, I had a good time. I don't read a lot of YA anymore, but every so often I kind of flip back to it, and usually I'm not disappointed, so I don't know why I don't read more of it. But anyways, yeah, I had a great time. The book was it was kind of dark, and it kept me guessing all the way through, and I made a few guesses, but I was miserably wrong. And yeah, just wow, it was a lot of fun. I loved the characters, and I thought the plot was well done. It was so entertaining, and just I enjoyed this one from start to finish. It was really fun. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it. If you did enjoy it, stay tuned for more videos coming up shortly, and check out some of my ones that I've already posted. Thank you very much, and bye!